Today's eMoney tip of the week is going to be education planning part 2. If you haven't seen my eMoney tip of the week that I did last week, it would be my eMoney tip of the week number 42. Go to our website, Bear Tongue Advisors. You can see it there. You can Google it. You can go to our LinkedIn and find it there. We're going to start right where I left off the last one because we got a lot of information to cover. I spent time showing you how to input the data. Now we're going to talk about how to show it to a client and build out the plan. So we're going to click on this education scenario that we built. Again, it might be called plans, depending on which version of eMoney you're using right now. So we're going to click on advanced plan. What we did was we made a change. Remember last time we did expense and we hit Cecilia. When we were building out Cecilia's, one of the things I didn't do was put funding in here. I wanted to show you that you could do this when you're in here. We forgot to put a funding source inside, or you want to show it differently. Now we're adding Cecilia's 529 plan. You're going to notice that all of a sudden it's going to change this from 0 to now we have dedicated funding. How's that 58,000? It's future dollars, right? So you can see right there, it's really, really important to understand we just added that one in here. One of the ways you might want to show this, maybe a 529 plan to base, and you want to show an alternative scenario where what if we took part of your retirement account, part of your non-retirement account, and put it towards this, okay? But the reason why I want to show you, if you do that, you can't show this separate from this. What if you want to show stop funding the education and show maybe getting rid of the 529 plan? What you would have to do in this scenario is if you wanted to show these separately, we're going to hit save in here. Actually, see, we're going to hit done in here. We're going to take us to our main screen. You can remove that 529 plan by simply going here, remove investment, Cecilia's 529. Now when we do this and we have them both checked, if we click on Cecilia's here, watch what happens. So we have Cecilia's 529 plan here as dedicated funding. Excuse me, let me click this off first. We have Cecilia's dedicated funding up here, right? We have the 529 plans here. All of a sudden, we're going to click this and notice how it's removed. So it's a way you can show both of these at the same time if you wanted to. For this plan, I'm going to go back to my base facts because I want Dwight and I want Cecilia to be where you're normally going to be. That was just to show you we're going to have a 529 plan attached here. The other way, by the way, you might do this, say they don't have a 529 plan and you want to show them creating a 529 plan. That's where you would go there and you would add that 529 plan. If you're doing that, know that I always would do that. So again, we would hit add. We would go to an investment. We would add a 529 plan. We add this fact. This is where you could do that. And then you could put a transfer in here as well too. But if we're going to do this, I like to always put 1 dash this. And then you'd put 1 dash the other one. So I know what to turn on. If you're doing 3 techniques at once, always put numbers by them. That's my quick way. We're going to put this $1 here. And we're going to grant their Pam. Because we're not going to play with this for right now. I'm just showing you how you would do this. And then you could easily go in there, right? Make the contributions in here, make the transfer coming in, add a contribution. And then you could turn this on and off. We're going to leave these off right now because we're not really building this out for that. What we want to show is we want to show the stop funding. So we're going to add the stop funding for Dwight's too. So we're going to go to expense. We're going to Dwight's education expense. We're going to hit edit fact here. Now we come to our worksheet, or excuse me, our worksheet, our funding. And we're going to stop the expense here. And we're going to hit save. Now we have these two built out the way I want to have them built out. I'm going to show you how to present this to a client. So the first way, if you know anything about me, I love Decision Center. I love coming in here. I love going straight to Monte Carlo. Try it a second time. Decision Center. We're going to go right into Monte Carlo, and we're going to go right into Monte Carlo summary. I know all these other tools are great. It's funny because I don't like goals-based software, and a lot of people think goals-based just means it's simple. I like to keep things simple. I'm a Carl Richards disciple right here. My clients want to see how it's going to affect them. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Klein, your base today are 91%. What if we stopped funding the education accounts? Now, this isn't a good example because this is a client that's not set up for this. You're going to see right here, it doesn't move the needle. By the way, something I should have mentioned last time is I want to change these names. This doesn't help, right? Stop dedicated funding, stop funding. And you can create these up for all types of things, like stop funding into the 529 plans that they're overfunding. Really all I want to show for this one. And by the way, I'd like to put these together. We'll just go down right here for right now. Just how we can put these together so you can move these around. You can turn these all on, turn these all off. So again, a lot of times if a client hasn't saved well, what's going to end up happening is maybe they're in 82% territory. Then all of a sudden we click on this and it might move them up to 90. Or maybe they're in red and they can't retire, but if we stop just paying for their kids' college education, maybe they can retire and just use the 529 plans that they've funded through various ways. Again, you can do a lot of things in here to show additional contributions to the 529 plans. A lot of great stuff. I'm just showing you the basics in this presentation. But once I've done the high level and the clients and I have had that conversation, what I want to do is I want to show them side by side in a goal planner. This is where education really sings inside of goal planner. So now you can see right here, we have these ones that are funded. They're only funded partial. But over here, they're completely funded. And now we can understand those differences. Again, a lot of times this might really grossly move the 91%, might say one, the other one might say 70%. But watch this, when you click up here, it's going to have a logo. This is one little gripe I have with eMoney. Can we please update our logo? About 4 years ago, our athletic director, Heather Like, brought back our old logo, and they still have the ugly logo for Pitt. But this is really meaningful, especially if a husband and wife use the different colleges for that they went to for their children. They can fight back and forth. It's a great conversation to have to personalize the talk. But you can go in here and talk about the cost, you talk about the funding, an overview, worst case, likely case, because a lot of times when you're having this education planning, you do want to isolate it. This gives you a quick way to isolate it, have conversations versus what would it look like if we didn't have that. You know, where's the shortfalls here with because we're not using dedicated funding? What's the percentage chance of funding this goal? But where this really becomes great, I love go-to-presentation. If we're not using go-to-presentation, these reports are easy for clients to understand. They're also a great CYA. You can click these boxes on and off. If you don't know what they are, you can always go to View Online Presentation. You can always click on it here. I always hit Download and Archive PDF. I go in the vault and I share with my clients so my clients can see what the work that we've done together, especially over time, see the work we've done together. But I'm just going to click down here in Education Analysis so you can see what this looks like. And you're going to see it's a really great presentation that you can share with your clients. They have the universities here, again, husband and wife, maybe it's different ones in here. It's a great conversation to have. They can see all this information, very, very concise, very, very easy to read. They know what the education funding looks like. I want to show you just one more way to do this is you can go into reports and you can have a cash flow conversation. This is where a lot of times I like to have this conversation where maybe you stop the funding because you're only going to use the dedicated funding, keep the dedicated funding and maybe stop putting money towards 529 plans. Maybe you want to do something crazy like you have a high enough salary, you've paid off your mortgage, just fund it from your salary. And that gives you flexibility. Now you're not going to have the tax advantage of 529 plan. Maybe it's stop doing contributions to your 401k for those 4 years. How does that impact your retirement? I hear people do it all the time, but they don't know what the impact of retirement. You can build out some scenarios like that. You can come in here and you can compare them side by side. So you go to base facts, you would click down here in education, and you would go to update. And you can really get in here and start to have this cash flow conversation about what are the outflows and what are the inflows. Really, really great way to do that. Another way you can pull this up, and there's a lot of ways, by the way, to skin this cat. And I like to, instead of going to this drop down, I think it's easier to go to this all reports when I'm doing a training like this. You can go down to education, expenses and goals, education planning. These are great reports that you can pull up to isolate this conversation. I don't tend to like to go in reports a lot, but this, and when it comes to education planning, these tend to be pretty good reports that clients want to see. We hope this tip helped educate and empower you to do more plans for your clients so that you can impact more lives through financial planning. If you have some great tips we don't know about, we'd love to hear about them. If you have a better way of doing what we just showed you, we'd love to hear about that. because we are a noble profession, and together we can elevate the profession.